When the devil comes to collect, have you ever found yourself having a conversation with the devil? Or maybe I should ask it another way. Have you ever been in a place where darkness seems to meet you at your most vulnerable moment? I'm not necessarily talking about being at the lowest point in your life. Sometimes darkness doesn't come when you've lost everything. Sometimes it comes at 3 o'clock in the morning when you're lying awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying your life from one side to the other. It comes when you find yourself stuck somewhere in between yesterday and tomorrow. A while back, I went back to my old neighborhood. While I was there, I ran into someone I hadn't seen in years, a man we all called Uncle Lou. Now, Uncle Lou wasn't our uncle by blood, he was our neighborhood uncle. Every neighborhood has one. The man who sits outside, the man who knows everybody, the man with a story for every occasion. As kids, we gather around him for hours. He wasn't the kind of man who tried to scare children just for fun. His stories always carried something deeper. Whether you believed him or not, they made you stop and think. When I saw him again, he smiled. You remember that story that gave you nightmares? He asked. I couldn't help but laugh. Oh, I remember. I remember exactly which one you're talking about. His smile slowly disappeared. Then his eyes drifted somewhere far away, almost as though he had stepped back into another time. After a long pause, he said quietly, the devil walked through this neighborhood one night. As children, we laughed the first time we heard him say it. How do you know? One of the kids asked. Did you talk to him? Everybody laughed. Everybody except Uncle Lou. He never smiled. Instead, he pointed toward the corner of the block. You see that corner over there? The one beside the alley. That's where I used to sit late at night. Then he looked at us. You'd be surprised what happens in a neighborhood after everybody goes inside, when the children are asleep, when the streets get quiet, when the only thing moving is the wind. He leaned forward. Every neighborhood has a spirit of its own, and there are people who notice things everybody else sleeps through. He told us he had been sitting there one night, not asleep, not dreaming, just watching. Then he saw someone walking slowly down the street. I knew who it was, he whispered. It was the devil. By then, none of us were laughing anymore. He walked right past the alley, Uncle Lou continued. And then he stopped. One of the boys finally asked, what happened next? Uncle Lou swallowed. He didn't look at me. He just stood there. And then he started talking. Uncle Lou lowered his head, almost demonstrating exactly how he had been sitting that night. I kept pretending I was asleep. I didn't dare move. I didn't dare breathe. Then he slowly looked up at us. But this time, he looked straight at me. He said the eyes weren't just red. They looked like burning lasers cutting through the darkness. He refused to make eye contact, but somehow he could still feel those eyes resting on him. Then the figure turned back toward the empty street and spoke. There is no rest for the weary. I come to kill, to steal, and to destroy. I walk this earth seeking the wicked. I take the souls of those who have already chosen me. By then, Uncle Lou admitted every part of his body wanted to run, but fear glued him to the sidewalk. He couldn't move. He couldn't speak. He said the silence around him was unlike anything he'd ever experienced. Not peaceful, not comforting, just empty. Then, in an almost mocking voice, the figure began humming a strange little tune before saying, one day I'll return. I always return. And when I do, I come to collect. I know the hearts of men. I know the ones who believe they cannot be seen. I know the wicked. I walk through neighborhoods everywhere. I'm always watching. Uncle Lou said the figure stood there for what felt like forever. Then, almost as suddenly as it appeared, it was gone, like a gust of wind disappearing into the darkness. For several moments, none of us children spoke. Nobody laughed. Nobody joked. We simply stared at Uncle Lou. Finally, he looked at us and said something I'll never forget. Maybe that wasn't meant for me. Maybe it was meant for you. He believed that whatever happened that night left him with a warning to pass on, a warning that evil always comes looking for what belongs to it. that if you spend your life serving darkness, one day a darkness comes calling. As a child, that story terrified me. Every creak in the house, every shadow outside my bedroom window, every strange sound after midnight. I'd lie awake wondering, what if the devil comes tonight? What if he come?